Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Livewire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Livewire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.
All right. Welcome to another Livewire Sports Media. So we got to talk some Indiana Fever basketball today. Christie Sides. Yes, the one and only Christie Sides. She seems like she's about to turn the corner when it comes to our own Caitlin Clark. So in a recent interview, Christie Sides did with Locked On women's basketball. And it was pretty interesting because the fact that Christie Sides, throughout the first half of the season, she really, we saw her not being adjusted to Caitlin Clark, her grabbing Caitlin Clark, her fussing with Caitlin Clark, and going back and forth with each other. And some wonder if, her and Caitlin Clark was getting along. Then, you had a couple of Lynn Dunn interviews that came out here and there, whatever the case might be. And so, but now with the break happening and, everything taking place and so forth and so on, it seems like now that the team has time to collect themselves, be together for a little bit. Christie Sides even had a couple of scavenger hunts. They had like a lot of team building. Some fans, was like, well, what is this? Well, they should be practicing, which they did practice. They got into the gym. They did a lot of stuff that they needed to do. So I'm not mad at it. You can't please everybody, no matter what you do. You can't please everybody. So the fact of the matter is that, Christie Sides, had a team together, team practice, they took a vacation. She talked about how Caitlin needed to take a break and everything like that. So she, like I said, she was on Locked On women's basketball, and they really got into a lot of things. Howard Mungo, he's the host of it. So he asked a few questions. They had a little dialogue. I think it was about 30 minutes or so. And for the first time, we got to see Christie Sides in another light. We haven't really seen her in this light before. And it's to me, it's kind of refreshing. And maybe now, since the All-Star break, we got to see, Christie Sides got to see Caitlin Clark interact with other teams. How she really plays. She was at the All-Star break, with the team, and they didn't look like they wanted to deal with her. You know what I'm saying? She was trying to reach out, and maybe that made her felt some type of way. You know what I'm saying? It made her felt some type of way, and she hey, I gotta change my approach. I gotta be more openly. I gotta, look to see how things go. But I'm gonna let you listen to the first part of this interview and what she had to say, about the team and, Caitlin Clark, so forth and so
on. We're just able to execute with the players that we have on the floor, with our shooting ability, with AB and how she's playing, Alyssa Smith, Kelsey Mitchell, the attention that Caitlin Clark, what she draws and how she's been such a great playmaker with the players around her. I mean, we're getting wide open shots. Kelsey Mitchell's getting more wide open shots than she's gotten in her career.
Ever.
Yeah. And so, as long as, we've really focused on this in this break as it relates to offense, just making sure we're doing everything we can to do better with making those wide open looks that we're getting, because we're getting some great looks from three. We've got, around the basket, we've not finished some that we've got to make sure that we finish. Our free throw shooting had to improve. Those are the things we worked on that side of the ball. talking defense, that's where my mind, that's where I feel like, I think we're in 11 right now. And I just feel like for us to make this push here at the end, we've got to get to 9, 8, 9 in that rating, in that category, just because we've got to do a better job of getting stops. People are just, we just give up too many transition buckets, and that sometimes has to do with our offense. I mean, we're turning the ball over at a high clip. That we need to work on that, but we've got to make sure we're not letting people put up 87 points on us. You don't get the opportunity to win games and giving up 87 points is just something that we have to get better at. That's our transition defense. And that's our win your individual battle defense. Just the pride of just making sure that I'm going to do everything I can to keep my player in front of me. And then the help side defense is the second part of that we've, really worked on during this break that we didn't have the opportunity in the first half of the season to do.
Listen,
all right, so you hear that part, and what I wanted to take from this is that she said that defensively, they 11th, she wants to be 8 or 9. So if you move up to 8 or 9 defensively, that means what's going to happen is that your team is locked in. She's emphasized on transition, defense, where stopping your man, being in front of your man, closing out on the wings, contesting 3-point shots. That all plays a whole part because this team, you got to look at the first half of the season, that this team struggled a lot, giving up a lot. If you go back to now the Dallas game, the last game of the first half, they should have won that game. They should have won the Washington game. She emphasized on that, how they won against New York, turn around, lose against Washington, how they won against the next team, and they on Minnesota, and then they lose against Dallas. She wants to be consistent, and that's where this team, I feel like in the second half of the season, this team probably can start locking in a little bit more. You got to see Damaris Dantas starting to get her legs under her. She's starting to knock down 3-point shots. I told y'all this before. I did a video way back when about Damaris Dantas and how she moves. She said really excellent picks. She's a really better 3-point threat on the outside than Katie Sanderson and Lexi Holt. Not knocking Katie Lou, because I love Katie Lou. I think Katie Lou was just struggling to get her body back in shape and stuff, and just going through the motion. I would feel like once Katie Lou could get her shot knocking down with her and Dantas out there on the floor, I think it's going to put the Fever more of a threat, because you have to close out on them. And if they hit shots down, there is no way you're going to be able to deal with Leah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, Alyssa Smith, and Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is the X factor in the whole thing, because her gravity pulls everybody towards her. So when you have these open shots, you got to take them. You have to take them. You got to knock them down, because that's the only way teams are going to respect you. And then they can move off her. It's like having a noose. You know what I'm saying? You loosen up that noose, that means you can breathe a little bit. That means Caitlin Clark can breathe a little bit. She can operate a little bit better, because then you not only you got to worry about her passing the ball to her open guys, players. Now you got to worry about her knocking down shots, because if she start knocking down shots in the second half of the season, she's going to be more unstoppable than what she is right now. So I take that. Like I said, for defensively, if this team moves in their defensive rating from 11th to 8th and 9th, that's going to be a hell of a improvement in the second half, because now you're locking down guys. And one thing I do want to point out too, the Olympic break. This Olympic break is crucial to the players that already been on the team. You got to look at the aces. They had 4. They had Chelsea Gray, Alyssa Young, Asia Wilson, and Kelsey Clark. How their legs going to feel when they come back. Now, I don't know if they play Thursday or they play Friday. So I don't know. So they just coming back, and they got to get back in routine. You got to look at New York with Breanna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu. I think Sabrina Ionescu will be fine because she really didn't play that much. You know what I'm saying? Breanna Stewart probably going to be the other one. But you got Jacqueline Jones and all of them. And so Connecticut Sun, you had Alyssa Thomas. How she going to feel? She probably be fine. Then you got to look at Sienna Storm that's rested. You got to look at the Phoenix Mercury, who's going to have Diana Taurasi back, who's going to have Khalil Copper back, who's going to have Brittany Griner back. How they going to, and they got to play back-to-back, you know what I'm saying, Thursday and Friday. So they might beat Chicago and lose to Fever. They might lose to both teams, Chicago and the Fever, you know what I'm saying? So that's something you got to look at with the second half. Now, the other part of this clip with Christie Sides, she went into talking about Caitlin Clark shooting, how she needs to take certain shots for the team to continue to be successful. That's key because there was no time of the season where Christie Sides would have ever said that about Caitlin Clark. Now, we heard her talk about, say, hey, Caitlin needs to take more shots. Caitlin needs to take more shots. Then at the beginning of the season, you know, she like, we got to break out of habits of the way she shoot. So you could tell Christie Sides, like, hey, you know what? I got to let Caitlin be Caitlin for us to be successful, period. Here you go.
Caitlin's numbers already that I thought was really interesting. And I wonder, and maybe there's not a definitive answer to this, but I'm wondering what you're seeing back in practice. So Caitlin, when she had to play on 0 days rest, this is thanks to sportsreference.com, field goal percentage is 16.7% in 2 games. Rightly so, right? Back-to-backs, can't even, listen, covering back-to-backs hard, and I'm not even running up and down the court. 39.5% field goal percentage if she's on 1 day of rest. She's on 2 days of rest, 44%. If she's on 3+ days of rest, 47.3%. And critically, her 3-point percentage is 43.9% on that time as well. I just wonder in what ways, and maybe you can't see it. Maybe you don't see it till the games are back there, but how her legs look fresher after having this break to be able to recharge. How much of a difference you think it has made already?
Huge. I mean, this girl has not stopped playing, you know, since she started her college season last year, right? So, you know, the break for Caitlin, you know, you talk about 1 day of rest, 2 days of rest, 3 days of rest. Like we gave them some great opportunities to get enough rest. Now she's also a worker. And so like I was, you know, always having to check in, make sure she was getting the rest that she needed. That's just her mentality, which that's why she is who she is. Right. But she needed to get a break, a mental break, a physical break. And, you know, she's in here every morning, shooting with Jessie Miller, one of my assistant coaches. When she walks in, you know, she'll walk in, she's like, yeah, I've shot the hell out of it. You know, like that is, you know, but that's what she's supposed to be doing. So her frustration was also during that time with, you know, her shot wasn't falling, but she just kept, you know, like she just knew, take the next one, take the next one. That's what we just kept talking about. So, you know, a month of rest for Caitlin Clark, you know, is exactly what she needed. And I think you're going to see a difference in when we come out on Friday. And you're not going to be able to see that until we start playing games to get those kind of numbers.
What about?
All right. So you heard that, you listened to that, and you heard, now, like she said, you're not going to be able to see it until they start playing games. So I advise everybody to say, well, hey, okay, if the Fever looked a little rusty on Friday, they say, well, they should have been practicing more, or they should have been doing this. They was playing all these games, ready to blame Christie Sides and stuff. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give Christie Sides the benefit of the doubt because she just illustrated, said, hey, it's going to take a couple of games before you start seeing Caitlin Clark back in her rhythm again. They got to get a rhythm. They was off a month. They got to get a rhythm just like every other team has to get a rhythm. It's just like starting over again. So there is no reason why people should be trying to jump on Christie Sides as the team struggle first. But I feel like the team is going to be fresh. They're going to have fresh legs. They're going to hit the floor running. That's the thing about it. I think they're going to hit the floor running. They're going to put pressure. You see how they was in the All-Star game. And so this is something very important for Christie Sides to start acknowledging. Now, I don't want Christie Sides to get into her old first half bad habits, everything. I think she's starting to realize. I think Lynn Dunn's starting to realize, like, hey, our job is on the line. If we do not allow Caitlin Clark to be who Caitlin Clark is, if this team does not make the playoff, our job, we could be fired. And that's where it's at this point. The second half of the season is going to be telling. Now, shout out to Ben Daniels. He did predict the second half of the season of a 9-5. I predict I can say 9-5 record all the way because they 13 they 13 right now. So that'll get them over 20 wins for the season. Let me double check to make sure I don't want to misquote anything. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the Fever is 11-15 right now. They the 7th seed. So if they get 9 wins, that'll put them at 20 and 20 on the season. That'd be 500. Now, I still think the Fever, they got a tough stretch of games coming. They have the Mercury, which they need to win that right out. Then they have a Sunday afternoon game with the Storm. Then they turn around and play the Lynx a week from next week. So they only got 2 games this week and they got a game next week. You know what I'm saying? So that's a good thing. Then they have the Dream. Then they got the Connecticut Suns. Then they got the Chicago Sky. This is going to be a great stretch of games because if they could come out and go 2-3, or if they could go 1-1, say they beat the Storm. Say they do beat the Storm on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be very telling for them. They beat the Storm. That's 2-2. Or they split 1-1 and then play next Saturday. They don't play. They got a whole another week off before they play another game. They fresh. Then they play the Lynx. Then they get to play against a Lynx team that has the future color. Maybe Tammy Finn Bentley will be back by then, but who knows? Then you had the Dream on that Monday, then that Wednesday, then that Friday. So you the 2 weeks from now is going to be, next Saturday, Monday, next Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday is going to be crucial because these are going to the games that you really going to have to pick up. You're going to have to beat the Lynx. You're going to have to beat the Dream. You're going to have to somehow play competitive against the Sun. You're going to have to beat the Chicago Sky. You know what I'm saying? Then you only got 6 games in this month. Then you got 8 games the following month. Then these are the games that you're going to really have to start picking up. So, yeah, it's gonna be tough, but I can see them, doing it. But all in all, great interview with Christie Sides, something that we've all been wanting to see from Christie Sides a little bit more, and talking about her superstar. She's giving her a lot of love, a lot of praise. You know what I'm saying? Now, like she did say about the turnovers, they got to turn and it's not. I see people put out videos and say, "Oh well, she's taking a shot at Caitlin Clark about turnovers." No, it's the whole team. It's not just Caitlin Clark, because if you think about it, if the team could finish shots or finish at the basket while turning the ball over or making dumb passes, the turnovers are cut down. The team in the total has a lot of turnovers, not just Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark, some of Caitlin Clark turnovers is to herself, but most of them comes because her teammates don't catch her passes. So her turnovers is high. But with that being said, she leads the league in assists too, and assists per game. So there you have it. But like I said, I'm waiting I want to see what this team looks like starting Friday. I want to see how strong this team finishes. I want to see how this team plays. I really want them to be competitive. Against the Seattle Storm, a team that has had a number through the year, I really want them to win that game on Sunday. I really want them to win that game because if they could beat Phoenix and go into Sunday's game with a lot of momentum, because they do play at home. So they start out at home. They got 2 home games, the Storm and the Mercury. They got them at home. So they really need to be able to come out gunning quickly. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. But until then, enjoy the video. Like it says at the bottom on the ticker, like, comment, subscribe at Livewire Sports Media on YouTube. And also follow me at Livewire Sports Media on X. Until then, you know what it is.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Livewire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Livewire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.